Alright, so today we're going to be looking at Roll20 and their picture sheets. This is specifically for Pathfinder, just the games that, and this one is being worked on through a one-shot that I'm doing that's a bit of extended one-shot. Alright, let's look over the settings really quick. Well, first off, let's go with the fact that okay, you can put your name in, your player name in, your alignment, and your class right off the I'll show you how to get the levels in a second. Okay, let's ignore everything but the thing I'm about to point out. Okay, so spells. If you're using spells, you need to scroll down to spells and check this. It is never checked. Depending on how you're using it, you need spell points. If not, you're good. It's fine. If you're dual wielding, you need to go over dual wielding and check it. So that goes. If you're making an NPC, you want NPCs whispered to DM, PCs on public roll. Trust me, it saves a lot of complaining. If you're a rogue, you need to have the do not lose dex when flat-footed. If you have the ability to not get surprised except by rogues, you need this. Okay. If you have anything that changes your AC and CMD stats, you need to click this square right here. Okay. If you're too lazy to do your own health, auto calc. Okay, yeah. Use that for CMD instead of BAP. So there's a class and a couple feats that allow you to do this. So you would need that there too. If you had that. Let's see. Do anything down there. Just for basics. Okay, so, this is after you clicked on the character sheets. Ignore attributes and ability. Ignore bio and info for now. Okay, so, this is how it will start, but it'll be completely blank. To get to character sheet, you need to click here. Okay, now to start off with, this is the simple template with everything put out for you. To edit it though, you do not use the simple template. The simple template is just so that it can, for in-game access, to make everything go by quickly. So this button is the mode button from simple to editing. So you click that, it opens, and you can edit. That's spells. Let's go over to core. Okay, so let's open up character details. So let's see. She put her name as this, so I'm just going to copy and paste down here. Boom. Let's see. It's a humanoid, that's inputted. If you have a deity, you put it in here. Homeland here for if you have a background with homeland. Occupation, if you have a profession, goes in there. Your languages goes down in here. Your visual sense, vision and other senses that you get from being your character go down into here. Let's see. That's about all you need to know about that. The skills you get, this will all be pointed out in a second. Going down to ability scores. Alright, this is just straight base from the character sheet from PGen. Typically you would put in just the base score without any modifiers to it. Starting at level 1, and then you would put in the inherent bonus from your base here. Any miscellaneous bonuses do go here, and any enchantment bonuses from items like that go in here. And then they get back to this. But for the purposes of this, all scores are just already added and straight into the base. Class, race, and experience. So here's your class. I don't know why it says race and experience, because it has nothing to do with it. This is class and experience. So you input your first class here. If you have another class, it would be inputted down here after clicking that, and so on and so forth. Your favorite class goes in here. If it was two favorite class, you put the slash, and then you add the other class's name. Let's see. Sorry about the noise. I'm repeating offhand. Okay. Obviously, you put in level 20 where you see that. The hit die for a bard is D8, so you put in the 8 for the number of sides right there. I'll explain hit points in a second. You put your highest base attack bonus here. So if you end up with multiple attacks, you put the higher of them all here. Skills level. Let's see. That was... I don't remember what the bard's was. So you put in the modifier from the bard, or the INT modifier from the bard, plus with the intelligence modifier for the number of skills you get per round. Favorite class skill is if you decide to take a skill point that level instead of a hit point or another class bonus per level. I still don't know what this is. Then you have your fort, ref, and will saves. All your base goes in here. Now, class HP. There's 180 there because as I scroll down, we hit the actual hit points. So now, 260 is the actual what's on the sheet. You always put in your hit die first, scroll down, and find out what ability bonus it gives you. Whatever this is, subtract it from your base and add whatever's left over to class HP, and it will add together, reaching total, which is marked over here. This is just for a level 20 Cat Folk Bard, so this isn't for everybody, but it's just to point it out. Oh, let's go back here. Okay, hit this button to reset your health, which is why I tell people to use this button and open the character sheet in a different window. And temporary hit points, whether it's Blight or Hero's Feast or something similar that, you know, gives you extra or takes away some permanently, goes in here. And it should subtract from max. Non-lethal damage goes in here, and any healing conditions, for example, if you my brain took a fart for a second. If you have a healing 5 per round, you do that. You put it in there. Okay. Here is your initiatives and speeds. First off, your speed goes into here. You have your basic run multiplier times 4, times 5 if you have feet. Then you have your fly, swim, climb, and burrow speed. These are all on your sheet somewhere. If you have them, if so, put them down. If you have the fly ability, you should definitely research how many ranks get you what type of fly speed. If that's a thing. Want to see? Not sure. Here you would put in your trait bonus from like reactionary. Also, if there's any racial bonuses, you put them into the trait box as well. So that's 4 with a modifier of a dex of 5. Goes into the total of a 9. A plus 9 to initiative rolls. Okay. I'm going to jump over to the equipment section to explain the defense. So, the drag and drop ability that I'll show you in a little bit that automatically calculates most of this. But first, so I'm going to go over to the Compodium, and I'm going to type in Mythal. Okay, there is no Mythal shirt spot like that. How about that? Okay, you have a Mythal Golem. That's in your bestiary, not in your items. However, they do have some. They have a lot of what you need in here, just not a lot of the fancier classes. If you had to change shirt, you can just click on it, hold it, drag it all the way over. This lights up, you let go, and it automatically inputs. And it fills out all this for you. Now, when you add something, it looks exactly like this, waiting for you to tell it what type of equipment type, where it is at on your body, and if it's not on your body, just what not carried. For armor, you drop down the armor attributes. If you have to put in by custom, you add in whatever name's there. You add in the short description if there is one. You add in the weight. If you have one, you put 1. Hardness, HP if you can. Obviously the max number of HP that's on the list, meaning if it says 15, that's 15. Your value goes in here. You put the AC bonus, obviously, in here. You got the max dex, you got the armor class penalty, and your spell failure chance goes in here. Then it gives you the type of armor, and asks if you're proficient in it. If you're not, obviously select no, but it would automatically start with light and yes. After you're done, you click set armor, and it puts it into the armor section, which I'm going to jump over to right now. Wrong tabs. Okay, so down here, you have your fort save, reflex save, and will save. You have your base inputted, modifier. If you have any trait bonuses, put them in. Any resistance bonuses, put them in. Anything from items or spells can go into here, or just added mentally after the roll has been made. However, you do have to announce the spell, obviously, first. I'm going to close that down. Defense value. So you have your AC, you have your dex. Does it say max? No? Okay. Typically, somewhere around here, you'll get a notification when you are overburdened, when you are encumbered, or when you're at your max dexterity bonus. Any dodge abilities you get go in here. I need to really stop clicking them. It's really sensitive. Any natural, obviously in here, deflection here, and anything from like, anything from let's just say a spell that doesn't not mark it as any of these. You can put a miscellaneous, any item that doesn't, just add this down in here. After that, you drop down to CMD. Flat-footed CMD is also here for you. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But as you can see, it's all inputted for you. So collapse the defense values to move on. This is what straight on into the defenses. So after you click the set armor or shield, it immediately gets put here with the AC added here, the max stacks, any failures, and add up into the defense values. Which, as you can see, armor is not. You can't edit that. Armor penalties, all listed here. The feats and all that. The 10% failure that actually comes here is not here. So, but that is for this character. So, closing that down. Special defenses and notes. If you have damage reduction, it goes here. If you have spell resistance, it goes here. Any resistances you have that are just base resistances, base immunities, and base weaknesses all go in here. If you have become immune to something, resistant to something, or weak to something, you add them here. Any armor notes, so if armor has a reaction towards certain maneuvers. CMD notes, if you gain a certain amount in a certain situation. Defense notes, if you gain a certain amount, lose a certain amount. For all of them, just in a certain situation, you add the notes for that here. Okay, I'm going to jump back over to equipment. Now that I've gone through all of that. Okay, anything that's run the equipment list. You guys know what goes in weapon, know what goes in armor. If you ask me what goes in ammo, we're going to fight. Consumables. Potions do not go in there. Only things like rations, food, things that are not magical that you can eat go in there. Charge. So your staves, your wands, they're not put on the weapon list to have an actual weapon. For example, some staffs act as a quarterstaff along with a magical device. However, if they don't, like if it's the wand, it goes directly into here. You label it as magic through using these right here. After I'll go through the second and point those out. Any gear you have, so any outfits, any tool, anything that you use that can be constituted as gear goes in there. Obviously, the rest of that I don't believe I need to explain. Other 1 and other 2 are just for things that you can't figure out where they go. Okay, so we're gonna move on to this person only weapon, and then I will show you guys dual wield in a different video. Okay, so first off, most of the time you can just come in here and get basic weapons and drag and drop, and it sets up for the most part. Careful to check your crit. Some of them don't actually have the correct crit range. For example, this one is a 19, but it sets it in immediately at 20. You need to set what type of attack this is going to be, like what attack this weapon is used for. This is the size. I don't know if I stressed this in the beginning, but I'll jump back over after this to explain. Into proficiency, are you proficient? If you put it there, any extra damage that's specific to this weapon. For example, if it is a bow that automatically shoots holy, you would put it in here. You would put, see, it's 2d6 damage to evil, so that type holy is also multiplied, so you'd also put it in on this side for the damage, so that it goes up, and then it would permanently stay on the bow for any attack you do. Obviously you've got your weight, all the basics. After you have this all set up, after you have your hit die in, if it's masterwork and you've checked the masterwork box, any damage mods, like +3s that come based on the sheet, in here. After that, you click create attack. Now, before I jump over to the attacks, let me jump over to core just to make sure that I trust this, because I don't honestly remember. Here are your sizes. This is your size, this is the default size for the whole thing. If you're going to be small, if you're going to be anything, click it, change it. And it will calculate into everything. That being said, closing that, jumping back over to attacks. Alright, so this is already set up for you. If you have buffs that are put into the buff section, they will automatically be counted in so long as they're active. Any miscellaneous bonuses, like things from items, no such things go into it here. You just add the number. You don't have to add a. Now, if it is a negative bonus, meaning that damages you, you do add the negative sign, so that it is input correctly. Otherwise, just add the number. Now, if you have critical confirmation bonus, like the +4 or +6, something, whatever it is, goes in here for whatever type of attack that confirmation goes in for. Just right there. Now, melee. This is the only one that I think you need to worry about right now. This is the only one that I know I'm playing. Just gonna be honest. So, that turns into alt melee. This is your weapon finesse attack if you're using weapon finesse. That is your alternate melee. That is the drop down. The other two, I'm not sure what they're for because I have not encountered them as of yet. Okay, so include notes or images, attack rolls, question mark. So anything that's checked here is included. I don't think I need to explain notes to you. If you have something that's just not basic, just doesn't go in the damage, like Vital Strike, or something that's extremely conditional for you to be able to use, and it not being on every hit or every other hit, you don't need to add it. Oh yeah. Sorry, you don't add it into like the actual rolls and things like this and whatnot. Each one has different notes. Should be pretty easy. All right. Extra damage already I've set up for an example for you guys. If you have something like sneak attack damage, put it in this section, not in the attack section down below, which I'll show you right now, or in a couple seconds. So if you have sneak attack, you put them in. These brackets are necessary. Without these brackets on either side of the die roll, it will not actually roll a die. And you'll just be sitting there going, what the hell? If it's multiplied on crit, it goes in there. You put the type here for the name. If you've got multiple, you can just put slash, go here, and enter, put it underneath. You're good. So, let me go here really quick. Okay, so here's the crossbow, and that's already been in action. Hover over the 30. Here you guys be able to see in parentheses you have the 9, which is the natural die roll. So you rolled a natural 9, plus the modifier. So it's 19 plus whatever modifier gives it to 21. So obviously a +2. So it's 21 plus 9 gets your attack roll. Then you have your damage directly underneath. This is your base damage on the weapon. And then here's the extra damage I was telling you about. This is where it's put in. See, it's got name, it's got the damage. It also tells you the type. And it's versus AC. Okay, got it. Now here is a crit roll. So I dropped the crit range to a 1 to 20 just so I could force a crit. On crit damage, if it's in the extra crit damage section, it also gets rolled in, just like every die gets rolled. It gets rolled twice on a crit, or 3 times depending on your multiplier. And see, it's right there. It's limited. Okay, let me go ahead and remove this from this character because it doesn't actually belong to this character. Yes, you can just close that down. Now, here you have the attack that you created earlier. Any attack mods, if you've got Masterwork, or actually not because of Masterwork is put in here, but if you have in Focus or something like that, something that's a bonus to the attack mod, you put it in here, as it says attack mods. Now, this automatically adds unless you put something else, like unless you put a negative number. Same down here for damage. So let's say you automatically get a +10 on any hit you deal with this weapon. You add the 10 in here. Or let's say that you lose 2 points of damage because you gain 6 points in attack. So, like, there's that. First off, make sure the damage ability is always set. Let's see. This is a dex weapon. That's what? Oh, okay. So if you have a longbow that has strength, you would put whatever the number is in for that, and then you would put strength, obviously. Now I understand that a bit more. So you have type, well, no, actually you do put strength, that's the type of damage that's coming with it. Duh. You have a type of damage, you have the range. This is the starting range. You have 100 feet is the first range increment. Typically on a longbow, on a crossbow, it's at 100 feet, so at 120, which it is its max range, you receive your first penalty. and then and then going forward it does more. Excuse the non-English. Okay, extra damage. So if it's just extra damage being applied from this type of attack, you would put it in here, just the same as you put the sneak damage in everything else. Okay, okay. Miscellaneous, you can put any weapon notes in here. Use the proper size and what group of weapon it's in, and if you're proficient in it. You don't want to screw with any of these unless you're very familiar with it, which is why dual wielding is in a different video, because that takes its own amount of time to prepare. Okay, so moving on to skills. Now the skills are not put in for this character, however, class skills, you check these boxes, put in how many ever ranks you put in the level in here. Any racial bonuses here, trait bonuses, feat bonuses, or item bonuses there. Required training, they're already checked for you most of the time. And then after you have that set up, you just click your skill button and they're all available for you to be able to use. Moving over to spells, this Compodium, get comfortable with it as best as you can, because it has things like cure wounds, it has a lot of spells in it, a lot of everything in it that you can just drag and drop into most of this. And it beats up your day, because typically that should light up, but it didn't. What's going on? Okay, so it's going to add another one. So, if I click and drag, cure critical wounds, just give it a second. It takes a minute for all the information to process into it. And cure critical wounds is now done here, as it is there. Now in the description it tells you that it's like cure light wounds, which is why it doesn't add everything else, and it expects you to go and check your cure light wounds and to see any of the saves or anything. But as you can see, let me undo that for a second. School goes in here. If it's a save, it usually goes in there. The type save goes in there. Range goes in there. Your target, duration, casting time, components. All of this actually does matter. You do want in, since this all functions off of one lower spell that this person has. It's not too big of an issue. Macro text. Not fucking with that. I forgot how there was a way to make it automatically roll the healing. I'm gonna get rid of that so I don't have an extra spell. That's spells. That's how to input them. Over here you have your uses per day, so it depends on that. Now gonna go up 2 spells per day, and over here. Okay, so you have your caster level. This is Bard, so all 20 are obviously the caster level. So it's level 20. Here where you select where you get your class from. All this is blank. You do have to fill this in. You have your base level right there. It asks you for your ability. Obviously it's Bard, so it gets 8, so the modifier is an 8, so there's that. Any spell notes you need would be prepared in there. I don't see anything that I need. But your bonus spells are automatically put in here. Known spells you have to put in here, and then it'll keep a track of the number listed. Obviously I'm missing a spell there. Spells per day, per level. So this 0 says 0, 0 spell says 0. It's, for most people it's unlimited. Some people have a certain number of 0 level spells that they can use per day. For example, Wizard, that would be put in on, I think, no, you put that in with the levels. You put that in with the levels as they go, and it gets it here. Or typically, wow, my brain's doing a nice little loop. Typically what actually happens is that it just automatically inputs the number of uses and everything based on the information you've already input. Spontaneous, prepared, and then total annual. Okay. Down here, domains, subdomains, bloodline. So if you have any of these, you put all the information in here for the most part, so that you can have them. Spell roll options, don't worry about that. That I have set up so that you guys never have to really worry about what happens when you use a spell. Let's go to spell list and just click one. Okay, so here, every time you click it, you're going to get your cast level, you're going to get your concentration check, and you're going to get your cast defensively, if you are casting defensively. So all the information you need per spell is already input. Like, you're going to have all of your answers. let's see. Skills, abilities. Okay, let's go to abilities. Alright, now down here, okay, you have your abilities, your X, your SP, SU, HUG, and your all menu somewhere. Your feats and everything would be added into here. I don't know what that's added. You click add, obviously, then go through your component looking for one, or adding it by hand. So, let's go through to explain this. You always need the show button, because if you do not, and you go to look for your abilities in the menu, you're never going to find them once you open up your player sheet. The rule as to how you got this, you can select them here. Source, what level, or what thing gave you access to this. Source name will get inputted as you go. Type in the name of it, what type of ability, get a short description, and the frequency, like how often does this work. Now, if it has a ranged effect, make sure you put the ranged effect down here. Now, if it does damage, it's kind of obvious. Just put it in here, attack type, I'll just fill this out, and every time you click it, it will do what it needs to do. Let's see. That's abilities, text, defend, I think I already went. Pretty sure I think I just covered everything that's needed. Okay, oh, no. Okay. Buttons. Okay. Let me shoot it this way. Okay, before we get to the buttons, I'm going to show you something. So, here's your message, here's your chat, here is where my art library is for me to make you guys' tokens. This is the journal, Compodium, Jukebox, which is mute that I have inputted, and then you have your collection and your settings. In collection, you have your macro, your deck, and your roll table. Roll table is just, like forest roll table, things like that, situational thing. Playing cards for those that use cards. You need to have show macro quick bar checked in order to do the following. Okay, so in your character sheet, hover over this to get it nice and red, click on it, and hold it down. Now drag it on the screen. You can see it right here. It's just being dragged around. And look, I bring it down, a little white thing pops up. If you're having trouble, make sure it's in this section somewhere. Try to tuck it as far this way. Or you can also, and once you let go, it should stick then. You should have access to your whole menu. Now, if it's not working, you probably need to add a macro, which you name it whatever you want. Now, this is how you add a macro. So if you're typing out the type of roll you want to do, always start with this, /roll. Now, let's say it's sneak attack of 6d6. 6d6. That's only one command line, and you can just keep going. Hit enter to start next one. Let's call it sneak. Okay, save changes. Look, it's right there. In bar, click it. It automatically gets out to your bar, and so you automatically have a place to use it. If you click, it does work. And I will show you what's happened on the screen in a second. And look, rolled. Boom. Okay, going back here, I'm going to get that out of my thing. Let's see. Yeah, let's go there. Yay! Okay, that's the buttons. Now let's move on to current conditions and buffs to finish up this quick tutorial. Okay, not quick at all. Okay, conditions. Okay, so first off, it's got show all conditions. Like that, it shrinks. Keep that open. So, if you're covering, you're blinded, any of these, you go into your thing and you click it, and it automatically adds whatever penalties you get from that condition. Buffs. You go in here into something that you typically have set up. However, they have common buffs here that you can just click, add, and it adds it. That's Divine Favor. Just add it. Look, whole buff is added. And the only thing you have to do is make sure it's enabled or disabled. You can always make it easier by coming over here and just checking the enabled and the disabled. Why won't you turn? Why are you doing this to me? Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's that one. Let's try to go through and explain this. Okay, so your bonus, you have to find out where the bonus is going to. Okay, so this is an attack bonus. Then you have your bonus type, of which it has just about everything listed. So you have to go through, read through, and get that inputted. Now this is I don't know how to do this format. However, if you get like a +2 from something, you just put the 2 in there, and it'll go in there. And get more buffs per buff box you check. To one buff section. So this is all for Divine Favor. The next one is damage, luck, whatever fucking equation it's using to get to buff 3. I'm pretty you get the pointless point. That's just how you would add it. I mean, go through, click add, it empties all. It opens all this empty, and most of the time it only sticks with one buff. So you typically have to add the other buffs, and it takes a bit of trial and error before you get it down properly. But it's not too difficult. Now let's go to menu in-game. So click that. You guys hear noise. Okay, so this has your initiative and speed info. This has your initiative, your ability checks, abilities if you have them, defenses, attacks, combat skills, all skills, items, large spellbook. Combat skills and all skills. The only thing it's going to show you with trained skills are the skills that you have available to you. If it's not there, you don't have it, meaning you can do it. That's just kind of how it works. However, you can use a base ability. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Like your strength, whatever the modifier is on the skill, to be able to attempt to do it. You're gonna have a bunch of penalties, but I mean, hey, it gives you the attempt. So if you get combat skills, look, you got them all right there. Anything you can use in combat, it's all right there. All skills for out of combat, you got everything. Any items that you have clicked show on will show up with click items. Abilities, there's nothing because there's nothing in the ability section. Your initiative is automatically calculated into this button, so you just have to click it. However, you don't just want to randomize click it. Here, I'm just going to use this Undead Fighter token. Okay, so I'm going to light up. Let's pretend that that's your token. Okay? So, oh, wait, 1 second. Make sure I have this on so you see it. So, you highlight your character, you just click it once. Just normal, don't open it, like just one soft click. Initiative, but automatically added to the turn order with a tie break generator added. So I'm just going to go ahead. Once your token has been removed from the field, though, it also disappears in the turn order. Let's see. Let's open all menus again. Your attacks, you go here. You have your melee, range, CMB, alt melee, alt range, alt CMB. Your alt melee, obviously, you know, it's for weapon finesse. You click it. This just gives you the roll since you don't have any weapon attached to it. However, this one has a weapon attached to it. Obviously, it's got the name. Click it. Boom. Holy shit. Okay. Wouldn't do that for me earlier. So you just roll it and look, you're good to go. Now, if you have multiple attacks, try to add in your multiple attacks, or have me add them in so that they get proper penalties to them. Yeah, just have me add them in so you guys don't accidentally break your character if you don't know how to use it. But I will go ahead and show you how you would use that just in case. But if you're not comfortable, say something. Tick tock, fucking low. Thank you. Let's go to attacks. Okay, let's say you have 4 crossbow attacks. Okay, this one right here. Hovering over it tells you what it actually means. Additional attacks for this weapon. Click it down. All right. So this automatically starts with this does the penalties. So primary attack is the main weapon attack in the first place. So there's. So let's say you have all 4 attacks, which do. Load them all up. There's no... these penalties would go down if you had certain feats and things for that weapon or for that fighting style, whatever. But in this case, this person doesn't have any feats. It's just a backup weapon. Okay, so that's all. Okay, close that. Roll it. Look, each one has its penalties. They go down. Each one goes through a penalty. Why won't you go away? Okay, so that's being a bitch. Wow, it's just sticking to the screen. Okay. But as you can see, the damages, the differences in rolls, it's not too difficult to want to be careful. if you're doing dual wield, if you decide to go check it and screw with it, do not edit either of these at all. The one you use is this one over here. If you're using dual wield, you know what I mean. If not, don't worry about it. Don't screw with your macro tags. Miscellaneous, you can add notes, you can make it go to the proper size if it's not, tell if it's proficiency, what group it's in, like if you're a fighter and you use light blades, heavy blades, things like that, you can do that. Aggro damage, I think I already went over that. Aggro macros, don't touch it. And that should be just about everything. Now I'm going to go to the settings and show you a few things. Okay. Probably I can rejoin as a basic player, but I'm not gonna. Okay, so scrolling down, you can obviously pop out your character sheet into a different window. Does not work with the podium if you do that. Enable background chat beep. No. No, give me my advanced dice, damn it. Enable advanced dice, dice icons, and drag and drop, etc. Enable 3D dice. Now, that's what you saw on my screen earlier. Automatically roll 3D dice in with it. I like things sorted, so. Video and voice. If you have any issue where you're getting video and voice or both, just come in here, go down to nothing, disable, since we use Discord. And we just don't use video because of internet connections, so there's that. Text size, you can be altered here. Status marker position, let's see. I think you control your own bandwidth. Transmogrifier, if you decide to be using your own game, if you have set this game had been set to accept other people's players and things, anything you add from here, aside from players, gets added in full. For example, music, all of it just gets automatically put in. Okay, last button. After you're finished getting everything in, now this is the last thing in the video. You need to recalc. What it does is it updates the whole sheet to the current stats, to everything, so that everything rolls properly. If it's not recalced, you're probably going to get a lot of messed up rolls, accidents. Also beware that the website does constantly update and does constantly, sometimes a glitch will happen. So keep yourself aware, and definitely keep your player sheet next to you at all times. It will help with any confusion. Okay, that's about it. Shit, I just realized on the screen. Okay, that'll be changed by tonight. Alright,